Hello, and welcome to Velosio Viewpoint Live. We are here for another week, another Wednesday. My name is Michael DeGeeter, coming to you from Chicago, Illinois, home of hot dogs without ketchup. I want to be very clear there, no ketchup in Chicago. I'm here as your host to bring you the hottest topics in cloud, digital transformation, IT security, ERP, CRM, and so much more. But before I forget, don't forget to like and subscribe wherever your like and subscribe buttons are, either on LinkedIn or YouTube, where you'll get updates, notifications to all things Velosio. But you also get notified when we go live during our weekly live chats here on LinkedIn and YouTube Live. We also encourage your engagement with us. Type a question to the comment section. We'll try to get to it during our live Q&A today. So today is all about the hottest buzzwords in technology today, which is the generative AI revolution and Copilot by Microsoft. Here to speak with us is Daryl Mall, Director of Emerging Technologies here at Velosio. Hey, Daryl, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Michael?
Doing well. Where are you coming from?
I am recently relocated to Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, excellent. Getting as much country music as possible, I'm sure.
Getting country music, but music in general. They call it
Yeah,
Music City for a reason. Yep.
that's right. That's right. Well, excellent. Thanks for being here with us today, Daryl. Appreciate your time. I want to jump right into the questions here. I know everyone's really curious about what's going on with generative AI, especially in the Microsoft ecosystem and universe, and I think we're going to get some good answers here today. So let's just start out with this first question. With all the talk, like I've said, about generative AI and how it's really transforming work, can you start just by explaining what is Copilot?
Yeah. Okay. So, what is Copilot? Copilot is going to be Microsoft's rendition of generative AI that they're infusing into all of their applications. But first and foremost, let me be clear. Copilot itself is there's not a singular Copilot. So there is many different Copilots. So you're going to have, it's one of set, it's the brand name for what they're using as their generative AI add-on or addition to the different applications. So you're going to have, a Copilot for Microsoft 365. You're going to have a Copilot inside of Dynamics 365 CE, Finance and Operations, Business Central, all of those different ones. Power Platform, Security, Bing, GitHub, those all have Copilot functionality. Again, Copilot is that generative AI experience that's built to assist the users in their daily tasks and more complex tasks that they do to make them more effective and more efficient at doing their daily jobs. This means, being able to ask, within an application to compose an email, whether you're in D365 Sales or in Outlook coming soon when Microsoft 365 Copilot gets released. Doing things like helping with, once Copilot for M365 is released, helping with, some complex formulas and different things like that within Excel. Being able to do and create Word documents, help with supply chain management within BC, composing product descriptions within, BC. Lots of different, repetitive tasks or daily tasks that are going to make, end users more efficient and help them out and get them more information in a more timely manner with less effort and less work. That's really, think about generating meeting recaps within sales for the sales professionals out there. Having your notes taken for you and being able to, create those follow-ups and all that stuff being recorded into, D365. Really time-saving events that, sometimes either A, go, not completed or not done, or lots of time and effort and energy is expended upon, creating that information that's going to become a few clicks away, and happen with a minimal amount of effort. Um, that's what Copilot is.
Hmm. Wow, and I feel like of all those things that you talked about, it's really almost still just the beginning of Copilot and generative AI and that sort of revolution where it's just going to constantly be expanding. We're going to be finding new ways to use it, and I just think that's so cool. And that goes into kind of my next question, which is, there's a lot of different generative AI tools out there now, and people are creating apps that integrate, and there's hundreds of them now. I'm seeing, possibly thousands. So, what do you see as kind of the biggest or key differentiator between Copilot, that Microsoft is giving us, and other generative AI tools?
Yeah, so the biggest piece here, is with Microsoft is that all of those offerings from Microsoft, their data and their or the functionality is grounded in your data. Your data is kept private. It is not exposed to any of the public LLMs. It is not exposed to anything. It is actually has the background of or the back end technologies of Azure OpenAI, and all of your data and all of your relevant searches and everything that is going on there is kept within your Microsoft tenant. So you're really going and relying back on Microsoft's responsible AI commitments, and the fact that they're grounding your solutions within your data is probably the key differentiator, I would say, between Copilot and Azure OpenAI, with all of the other, not to be confused with just regular OpenAI, which released the initial ChatGPT. But that's the biggest piece is that data security and keeping your data confidential. A company's and organization's data remaining their data and not being utilized to train any of the other pieces. And like you mentioned, this is just the tip of the iceberg for the generative AI world and Copilot for that matter. There's going to be a lot more functionality and a lot more different features and capabilities that are going to come out. I mean, they're rolling out daily, weekly, monthly. It seems like there's a never-ending stream of updates to what is being available and what capabilities are being released.
Absolutely. And it sounds like, from all of this that I'm hearing, this is just such cool stuff, and it's ways that my life is going to get easier at work. My tasks are going to become more efficient, quicker. So, and these are great tools, and they enhance the way that end users do their jobs. The question is, when can people start using them?
Well, depending on which one of the tools you're actually talking about today, that would be probably one of the biggest pieces that I would say to make sure that you're, keeping abreast of and reaching out to your contacts here at Velosio as to, when different tools are available and updated. We have different stages from private preview, like Microsoft 365 is in right now, to limited previews, to public previews, to general availability. All of these all the different tools are in different stages, and then within each one of those stages, just because, for example, right now Copilot for Sales is out, there's some pieces of functionality that are out today, but that's not what Copilot for Sales is going to look like 6 months from now or a year from now or anything like that. There's going to be a lot more functionality that's going to be released within that tool set. It's definitely something to keep to keep in touch with Velosio on, because we are definitely monitoring it. We are definitely involved with Microsoft in making sure that we have all of these updates. Um, you know, just to give a quick example, like GitHub Copilot, which is the original Copilot, has been around for a while now, and obviously enables developers to code faster and focus a lot of their time on less of the put a semicolon here, put a and do this these little pieces here, and focus on some bigger level problems. But CE has Copilots already released for sales, customer insights, and customer service. BC has Copilots that are already released for supply chain and product descriptions and different things like that. In addition to those Copilot, there's other generative AI features and functionality like Bing Chat Enterprise. Bing Chat Enterprise brings a GPT-4 model, to and makes that available to corporate users within their tenant, that gives them the functionality of being able to utilize their data without exposing that data to public LLMs and out to be trained in other avenues as far as that goes.
Sure.
A lot of the again, a lot of the different pieces, like Microsoft, everybody's interested in when Microsoft 365 Copilot will be released. Keep an eye out for some announcements that are probably coming here pretty soon on that. We've seen a lot of different pointers and key indicators that are pointing at some, updates to some dates on there. We haven't heard any release dates or anything with that, but there's been some, a lot of the stuff. They did release the pricing for Microsoft 365 Copilot. That is going to be $30 per user per month on a Microsoft 365 E3, E5 business standard or business premium subscription. So there's a lot of different information that is pointing to, getting some release dates on some of those. Windows 11 Copilot that's going to be built into the Windows operating system is supposed to be coming out in the second half 23. So here coming up in this release that's out there, I know there's lots of insider previews that have been out and about, and some of that update has been starting to be pushed out. So Copilot for Windows 11 is coming out. But again, that's something that if you keep track or keep in touch with Velosio, we can keep you updated as to not only the different stages and the release dates for some of the Copilots, but then also the functionality within each one of them. Because, like I said originally, what Copilots for sales is today is not what it will be 6 months from now.
Sure. So, you mentioned all these different products, and you talked about it before. There's Copilot for the different ERPs of Dynamics 365 and CRM and customer engagement and sales and marketing, all these different things, Microsoft 365. How can organizations take advantage of using multiple technologies, which many organizations do within the Microsoft ecosystem, like I said, Dynamics 365 CE, BC, F&O, along with what everyone uses and possibly one of the most important tools that Microsoft has, Microsoft 365, and that modern workplace tools.
Yeah. So, and if you want to go back to, one of your previous questions as, what's a key differentiator? It's grounded in, when I said it's grounded in that data, it's not just grounded in one piece of data. If you look at that, you just mentioned a full stack. So you have ERP, you have CRM, you have, productivity, you have collaboration, you have, all of these different pieces. Those are all under that data umbrella. So not only is it grounded in that data, but it's also, reaching across different, a larger stack than any other organization that is doing AI can do today. When you're talking about doing that, one of the pieces that there's actually really two good answers to that. And the first answer of how do you, utilize across multiple stacks is there's always Azure OpenAI, which is what all of the Copilots are grounded in, or not grounded in, but the technology that's behind all of the different Copilots is actually Azure OpenAI. That gives you, within your organization's tenant, gives you the functionality of the GPT-4, GPT 3.5, Turbo, Dolly, all of the different models and all the different, capabilities and functionalities. Gives you that those abilities grounded in your data, utilizing your data as its knowledge source, and keeping that secured so that those guardrails keep your data as your data. But Azure OpenAI gives you that functionality of being able to do all of that information or utilize all that different technology that part of that the Copilots are written on, and more, across all of those different data sources and all those different pieces of data. They also recently announced the extensibility of the Copilot stacks with plugins. So there's 3 different types of plugins that are going to be available. There's going to be your Chat GPT type plugins. There's going to be your Teams message extensions, and then there's going to be Power Platform connectors. All of these are going to allow developers to basically infuse that AI functionality into either different applications or their own applications or custom applications, but then also cross pollinate with other data between the different applications. So you're going to have, again, make sure that you have access to the different types of information that you want from within, Word and Excel, to make sure that you can hit your D365 data, that you can hit your CE data, your F&O data, your BC data, all of that information, and give you that functionality to be able to, ask questions and do what you need to do across those, with the ability of utilizing those plugins. Another piece, again, with Dataverse, and also coming with, Fabric here, with the changes that they have announced with Fabric. Obviously, data is at the core. Data is what you're asking the questions on, and we're just trying to get that data into the hands of the end user in the most natural way possible, which is their natural language questions.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I love about it. How important, and this is a really, I like this question a lot because I think it's on the top of mind of everyone that's putting data anywhere. especially such important data for an organization. How important is that quality and that security of data in Copilot and other generative AI applications?
I don't know that there's a word that's large enough or to really express how important the quality of data is and the security of that data. I mean, everybody sees all the breaches and all the the information about all the different malicious actors that are out there trying to get their hands on data.
Hmm.
Data is the goal of every organization. If you're not taking advantage of it, you're not taking advantage of the full potential of everything that your company could be doing. If you're losing access to that, then obviously you're just handing away like your PIN number of your debit card. I mean,
Mm.
it's extremely important, and Microsoft takes it extremely important, and they have you know put up logical barriers, they put up physical barriers and everything to make sure that your data remains safe and that your data remains your data as far as your tenant goes. This is obviously emphasized in Microsoft's commitment to responsible AI that you can check out at Microsoft.com / responsible AI. And it's also as far as security goes, it's not just hey making sure that your data doesn't go outside of your organization, because obviously there's pieces and parts within your organization, people that shouldn't have access to different pieces of information and different things like that. And really the core functionality of who has access to what data is dictated by each one of those different applications and each one of those different pieces of where that data is generated from. And that molds into how responsible, or not responsible, but generative AI and Copilot utilizes those. It utilizes that underlying security structure to make sure that you have access to what you need access to, and I have access to what need access to.
Hmm.
But data quality an extremely important piece that is going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of scrutiny and a lot of information coming out here in over time here, because the ability and to put this data in front of the end users and get that information to them is just going to shine a spotlight on data quality issues
Yeah.
and places where organizations didn't really necessarily that they had data quality problems, or maybe they thought that hey, we had a little bit of an issue. It's going to really shine a spotlight on just the vast amount of quality issues that are out there. There's going to be a lot of information or a lot of projects that are going to be focused on data quality and cleaning up that data. And
Yeah.
once that happens, the organizations that do that, focus on that, and make sure that they have good quality data, they're going to be they're really going to be taking advantage of these technologies and the functionality that is enabled by these things.
Sure. So other than the different co-pilots out there, right? Does Microsoft offer other generative AI solutions anywhere else?
Yeah, like I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but there's obviously Azure OpenAI. Again, that is the technology that is the back end technology where everything for Copilot is built on. In addition to your Chat GPT 4.0, your 3.5 turbos, your Dolly image models and different things like
Hmm.
that, all the different embedding models that are available. It gives you cognitive search functionality. It gives you facial recognition APIs. It gives you speech recognition. So think your speech to text, text to speech,
Yeah.
synthesized voice generation. All of this information, all and functionality is all available within Azure OpenAI. So, think of Copilot as being a very small sliver of what Azure OpenAI can do. Azure OpenAI is really just a playground and a toolkit that enables everything and anything, artificial intelligence related to be created. Um,
Sure.
on top of that, there's also like other functionality that utilizes generative AI. So you obviously have Bing Chat Enterprise, which is again something that's
Mm.
specifically written by Microsoft for each organization. So when you log into, you go to chat.bing.com with an enterprise and log in with your enterprise account, you're going to see in there that it pops up and it says, hey, here's your this is protected by your organization. It goes through and it gives you the ability of doing a GPT-4 type chat GPT experience. You can utilize your company data, your personal data, and different things like that, and know that it's secured. It's not going out to any public LLMs. It's not being exposed to anything outside of there. Your search history is not being tracked or recorded. all of that information is right there on the page, and that functionality is exposed to users now, so that organizations can feel secure in saying, hey, I'm allowing my company or my end users to utilize that functionality of ChatGPT, but I don't have to necessarily worry as much about the security because it's in my own tenant. It's not exposing data. So if they do upload a document to utilize, say, give me a summary of this or create that or do any of this other functionality, that it is within their tenant, it is being guardrailed within there, and it's not being exposed to anything, and it really kind of puts the ability of giving them the functionality without exposing the company data to outside the world.
Sure. I mean, it really sounds incredible, and the opportunities are endless. And I know that Velosio currently has a new program to help enhance enhance the offerings provided by Copilot, Power Platform, other machine learning tools, and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about the Velosio AI Labs real quick, and that site scrolling at the bottom as well too?
Yeah, I was gonna say, look, and if you're missing it, it's right there along the bottom. go.velosio.com/GAI-labs. With that, it gets you in the ability to get in touch with some of the emerging technology team members here. They can talk with you and go through and vet out what's going to be needed. Is something viable? What technologies are going to be needed to go through and do this? Also start down the path of going through a proof of concept creation and going through some of the stuff that Velocity is going to take a vested interest in with you, and possibly fund some of this stuff for you. Go through and make sure that your ideas come to fruition, and get out there and get through and work through what these different options mean. So if you have great ideas but don't necessarily know how to go about doing it, what's going to be required to do it, or have the skill set to do it, we're here for you. Go to go.velosio.com/GAI-labs and put in the information, and we can get in touch with you and walk through all this information and start working down the path to get this created for you.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great. Daryl, thanks so much. That's all the questions that I have for you today. I appreciate you being on this Viewpoint Live, and I hope you come back soon. We will be back in 2 weeks, 2 Wednesdays from now. We'll be switching topics over to a horticulture and agriculture solution, Silverleaf. So excited about that. Thanks again, Daryl, for being here today. Don't forget, everyone, to like and subscribe to our LinkedIn and YouTube channels here, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.